Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to Enfold's first edition of the Lightbulb Moments series. My name is Philippa Piri, Knowledge Manager at Ayoko and a certified APMP practitioner. I will be facilitating the session today. So before we get started, just a few house rules. For your information, please note that this session is being recorded and the link will be made available. To help background noise and distractions and keep them at a minimum, please stay muted, keep your cameras off, except for the panelists. If you have any questions, comments, please post them in the chat box. My colleagues will be monitoring these and we will answer them at the end of the panel discussion. Also use this function to interact and also make use of the emojis. Contact details will also be shared at the end of the webinar. Right. I'm very excited to be here today, as I'm sure you all are. Just to give you an idea of what we're covering today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Lightbulb Moment series. I'm going to introduce our three panelists, and it's very interesting to note that none of our panelists are from technology companies, and this was done on purpose because we want to get a non-technical perspective and view on this topic. Once we know more about our experts, then we'll kick off the discussion. Take a seat, relax. I hope you have your tea, your coffee, your water, as it promises to be a very exciting session. Now, what is Lightbulb Moments? Lightbulb Moments is a series in which we explore technology and digital transformation in the bid and proposal development world. For the next few weeks, we will discuss data-powered opportunity intelligence tools, automated responses to tracking progress, simplified collaboration, and analyzing language which improves quality, clarity, and compliance in your proposals. As we all know, the impact of the coronavirus is being felt by all businesses around the world, and the industry insights show that this has accelerated the adoption of digital technologies. Across the globe, we find that leaders are navigating a broad range of interrelated issues which span from keeping their employees and customers safe, shoring up cash and liquidity, reorienting operations, as well as navigating complicated government support programs. Technology offers opportunities to rebuild your business around the customer and to create a truly connected and highly profitable enterprise. In today's session, we're going to talk to proposal specialists from Australia, Switzerland, and South Africa about the challenges they experience in the proposal management environment, what role technology can play, if any, in providing companies with a competitive edge, and when it comes to responding to bids, tenders, and sales proposals, what role does that play? Now, before our panelists share their views, let me tell you a little bit more about them. We have Nigel Dennis from BidRight Australia. Nigel has been called a proposal pioneer in Australia for his work in shaping the professional bidding landscape in the region. He has 3 decades of proposal consulting experience and has trained thousands of people. Nigel started the APMP Australia New Zealand chapter. He runs Australia's largest specialist bid consultancy and is a strong advocate for the development of our profession. Nigel, a very warm welcome to you and good afternoon. I understand it's afternoon in Australia.
Lovely to be here. Thank you, Philippa.
Thank you so much. Our next panelist is Chris Kalin from CSK Management in Switzerland. Chris is a global authority in bid and proposal management and the author of the Ultimate Bid and Proposal Compendium. It has become the #1 reference book for bid and proposal managers. I suggest you take a look online if you can get yourself a copy. Chris is also a founder and managing partner of CSK Management. He works with companies around the world to win strategic deals, and so far has helped with generating over $50 billion in various industries and improving success rates. He also conducts live and virtual training programs on how to win more business with the bid and proposal best practices. He's also a very well-received speaker at various business development conferences and sales conventions around the globe. Chris also happens to be the co-founder and chairman of the German-speaking APMP chapter and regional director for Europe, Africa. He is also an APMP certified professional and an APMP approved trainer. In 2013, he also received the prestigious Fellows Award. What a resume. Welcome, Chris. We're very honored to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Thank you. Our last panelist, definitely not least, is our very own Issan Hamilton, a certified APMP professional who is a compassionate leader who started a career at IBM before honing her passion for winning business at other global and local concerns. Issan's rare leadership style is rooted in her innate ability to develop people. She has held various senior management positions in business development, marketing, and bid management over the past 20 years. Issan is skilled in thought leadership and strategy development. Welcome, Issan. All right, so welcome to all our panelists. We're all keen to hear your views on how proposal technology makes bidding easier, the pros and cons of using technology, as well as the digital transformation in our proposal management environment. Now, I think I've said quite a mouthful. We should get right to it. But before we do that, I have a little challenge for our panelists. And the first to answer gets 5 points. I don't know for what and for where, but let's go for it. How many programmers does it take to change a light bulb?
0.
Any takers?
0?
Yes, Chris? 0. Nigel?
I'm going to go with 5.
5. Issan? Is Issan still with us? I think she may have left. Okay, the correct answer is 0. But do you know the reason why it's 0, Chris?
No idea. You will tell me.
Because a light bulb is a hardware problem. Changing a light bulb is a hardware problem. All right, I think we can get started. I think just to create some context, for our audience or for those who might watch this roundtable discussion and are not aware of what bid and proposal management is. Nigel, will you please explain what the role of bid management is in business development and in the greater organization?
Look, the role of bid management is really, at the heart of it, is to win new business, win new contracts. And that in itself keeps businesses employed, keeps people employed, get businesses to grow. And at the very worst, it helps them not shutting their doors. So we really are the engine at the really pointy end of business growth and business development and winning contracts to sustain business.
To sustain business, I love that. Chris, do you have your own definition, perhaps, or something you'd like to add to that?
Oh, definitely. I mean, basically, the bid managers are the kind of rainmakers at the end of the process. Jointly with sales, they are creating the actual order entry, and that pays our salaries. So they have an absolutely central and probably most underrated, underestimated, and very often underpaid role. So absolutely. In fact, I think a good bid manager should be kind of superwoman or superman. Because they have to understand products, they have to understand, need to have a sales perspective, they need to be tough project managers, they understand calculation, they understand language, they know how to sell, they lead virtual teams. I mean, it's probably one of the most cross-functional functions that you can imagine, and all under high pressure. So they are the rainmakers.
Absolutely. Rainmakers, job creators, and yes, we're the ones keeping the business alive. I love that. Thank you so much. Issan, how do you think proposal management contributes towards an exceptional customer experience?
Well, business development and proposal development are intertwined with customer experience. It's like chicken and egg or pirate and parrot. You can't really say which one comes first. But now, lucky for us, that proposal managers have these unique skills that contribute towards an exceptional customer experience.
Okay, I think Issan is having some connectivity issues there. Chris, in your mind, oh, she's back. Sorry, Issan, we'd lost you for a second there.
Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Sorry, I jumped between networks already. All right, sorry about that, guys. So, I was saying that the proposal managers have these unique skills because they can keep things very simple and use plain language. Because people naturally avoid things that they don't understand or that feels too overwhelming. And I think the second unique skill that proposal managers have that contributes towards exceptional customer experience is the way that we personalize messages. I mean, no two snowflakes are the same. So no two proposals can ever be the same. Even when you're selling the same solution to customers in similar industries, proposal managers personalize that message.
Okay, Chris, your thoughts on that?
Well, absolutely. I mean, reading the proposal should be an experience that should be really exciting at the end of the day, because then they say yes. Very simple. I mean, just for an example, I mean, when writing a proposal to one of my clients, I could put the title on it, proposal for a 2-day workshop, or I could name it double the win rate, and this is what the customer wants. So the reading experience for the customer is the main output of the proposal process, with all the different inputs. But at the end of the day, the proposal should be a pleasure to read.
Pleasure to read. So the rainmakers make the proposal a pleasure to read.
Yes.
I love it. Nigel, your thoughts on how we create this exceptional customer experience?
I just want to add one thing, and I totally agree with what Isaiah and Chris are saying, but one little nuance around this is sometimes, especially for some larger companies, the proposal manager is once removed from the customer, or the proposal department is removed from the customer. And so from their perspective, their customer is often internal. And unfortunately, some departments treat those proposal people with contempt, without the strategic view that they can enhance. So we got to be careful that we don't get locked up in, we often call it doing business with ourselves. You know, the internal departments doing it with themselves, and that's they're busy trying to please the risk managers, or try to please the financial controllers, or trying to please the MD who wants a certain margin. So so we've got to be, if we can, remove ourselves from the thinking about the internal customer, which obviously is important always, but let's think about the big mistakes we often see in my consulting business is the lack of focus on the true customer and what we do for them, because so many companies get wrapped up in the what's in it for me, and I'm great, I can do this, and rather than thinking about what they can do for the ultimate customer.
Okay, I think let's pick up a little bit more on that, Nigel, because what you're talking about, the customer being the internal customer, and very often forgetting that our focus must be on our client and what their needs are. This is definitely a challenge in our world. What else have you picked up on that are challenges in the bid and proposal environment?
Again, I think it comes down, for me, the personal challenges that we face every day depends on the type of customer. Small customers, small businesses in a consulting game, small businesses just naive. They think that they can just have got the skills to be able to work on any bid and make it happen without being trained. The second part is those larger businesses, which as I just mentioned, talk all about me too. I'm great, we're great, we'll just rest on our experience and our laurels. And again, the third type, big mistake we see is those leaders or proposed leaders coming in, or we work with those leaders, and they just don't think strategically. They think proposals all about administration. We get the request lands and we just respond to it rather than work up to it and do all the work prior to, or much of the work aspire to. So it really depends on the type of
customer.
The type of customer we engage with, but there's across the board. And I'm sure Issan and Chris can expand on those.
Yeah, Issan, have you experienced similar challenges, or if not, which most have you encountered?
I think the challenges that I most encounter is really about time and money, and how both are being wasted. For example, we know that it's expensive to respond to opportunities. So customers often waste money and time by pursuing the wrong opportunities, where they have a long shot of winning it, or they just hope they can win it, when they should be spending time on those opportunities that they definitely can win. And I think the other place where time and money are wasted is doing things, is reinventing the wheel every time, rewriting the same content, and spending time on putting things together, compiling components of the proposal that you should be able to do at the flick of a button, instead of spending the time on strategy. So I think, time and money, spending your attention in the wrong places.
Okay, so Nigel's spoken about there being a less strategic focus. You've spoken about time and money and how that's wasted and reinventing the wheel. Chris, what are your thoughts around the challenges that you faced or encountered the most? And I think I'll take it a step further and say to what impact do these challenges have on bid teams fulfilling their mandate, and especially on them delivering what we spoke about earlier, which is an exceptional customer experience. Sorry.
Right. So I would divide into external and internal challenges. The external challenges is exactly what Nigel said. Procurement people very often don't know what you have to do, and RFPs get worse and worse, and you have less and less time. Interesting, actually, I just recently presented our bid master framework, which basically depicts all the activities you have in the bid management process. And I showed that to the procurement people, and they were shocked. They thought, okay, they have a configurator, they enter the data, and it produces a proposal. So that's their view on proposal writing. Not all of them, of course, but very often that's the case. So that's the external part. The internal part, I would say there are basically three challenges. The first one is the time pressure that you have, because everyone is underestimating what bid management and producing a bid means, because it's not on everyone's priority list at the top. Because it's for many people, it's in the organization, it's not important, unfortunately. The second thing is probably missing awareness that a proposal is a sales document and not a technical description, and not marketing twaddle with "we are the leading provider" and so on either. And finally, I would say the missing acceptance within the organization. Still, many bid managers are seen as sales support, those who are just putting together the proposal. And that is a big thing. I think we all need to work on our awareness and our position and on the acceptance within the organizations, because we do a strategic job at the end. We are not support people. I think that's the key thing. And now you've asked me about the impact that all has. I think at the end of the time, given the typical time pressure, efficiency is key. We have to be efficient, but the challenge here is, of course, that we can't automate too many things. Usually when you want to get more efficient, you have some tools and then you just automate. But since every bid is different, every customer is different, every RFP is different, it's relatively difficult to automate things. So gaining efficiency through that channel is possible, but it's not so easy. And the other thing is, given it's a sales document, content is key. So it's absolutely key that you have the skills in the organization to write a proposal document that is compelling, especially from the bid manager perspective, where you get lots of different sections from different people, from subject matter experts, from product specialists, whatever. And then you have to put it together. And then at the end, you need to transform it into something that is compelling. So this is the second biggest challenge for me.
Okay.
If I may add, Philippa, on what Chris just said, I've seen responses before it goes to the customer when it has come from different departments, and it literally reads like different companies, not just different departments.
Yes.
If you didn't know any better, you would think that it's just a cut and paste from different companies.
I would even say different worlds.
True. And I think that's one of the things that is underestimated, is the ability that a proposal manager has to rewrite content to make it flow together. And if it is just considered an admin or support function, nobody's going to read it internally to make it sound like one voice.
Absolutely, I agree. Nigel, your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I want to pick up on something, bring those together that Chris and Issan both said, is the time and efficiency thing. And we see a lot of people who are satisfied with 1 in 20, 1 in 30, 1 in 40 win rates, 5% or less. They're satisfied with it. Come on. But the problem is the people who are giving instructions about what to bid for don't control or have no understanding or perception of the effort and the time and resources that actually takes. And and so to pick up on Issan's point, the time and efficiency thing, it really is, if we can bid less, but get our win rates up, then everyone will, because we've got more time to spread over less proposals. We put more effort on better proposals. Those ones we're more likely to win. So having a 1 in 20, if for those businesses and industries out there, if you've got a 1 in 20 win rate, don't accept that. Don't accept that as a whatever industry you're in. All right.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much, Nigel. So picking up on time and efficiency, and Chris mentioned something around automating our processes, is on how do you think that digital transformation in the proposal management world can contribute to us getting a better customer experience, being more efficient, and just having a more competitive edge against what our customers, our competitors are offering out there. Sorry.
When you look at the definition of digital transformation, which is the integration of digital technology in all areas of the business, I think it stands to reason that developing or deploying the right technology in the right areas of your proposal management delivery function will fundamentally change how business and how proposal teams operate and deliver value to their customers. Let's take an example. So say, for example, I use technology to help my business qualify the right opportunities in and the wrong opportunities out. My proposal team will spend less time pursuing those unwinnable opportunities. Then if my proposal team does have some form of proposal automation that's linked to your CRM and integrated with a content library, a lot of the proposals, repetitive, mundane, or often used types of content can be quickly put together, reviewed, because we know that it's not all copy and paste, but then that available response time can be spent on what was mentioned before, which is the win strategy and your pricing strategy and your visual strategy, because you don't want to spend whatever time is available, and it's never a lot, on doing things that you've done exactly before. You want to spend the time on getting inside the customer's head, understand what is going to give that unique differentiator, and that's the part that you want to explore. The rest of the stuff you want to, if it was as easy as just pressing one button, I would like to do that. No, it's not that easy, but you really want to spend the time on strategy.
Okay, so using the right technology at the right places or parts of the process, which will help you to enhance your customer-focused proposal document.
We want to free up the time of the proposal team to spend on the strategy. Technology alone is never the answer.
Okay.
Otherwise we would be in an iRobot world already. So technology alone is not the answer, but I do believe that it can add tremendous value.
Okay, thanks, Issan. Chris, how do you see digital transformation contributing in proposal management for what we've spoken about, the bid experience, the efficiency, and so forth?
Well, I love this word, digital transformation. I mean, it's basically the right use of software tools, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
And the right use of software tools and so on, that makes you quicker, more efficient, makes you making less mistakes. So you can get more efficient, but not smarter usually. So that's why I always say a tool with a fool with a tool is still a fool. That's what I wanted to say. Goodness me. So a fool with a tool is still a fool.
Yes.
So despite all the artificial intelligence and all the cleverness and sophistication and technology and everything like that, at the end, it's about how you use the hammer. I mean, the smartest man, if he doesn't use how to use a hammer, the hammer is useless. So the key thing for me is actually using the right tools that help you becoming more efficient. And that's the main question when selecting a tool. Does it really help me becoming more efficient? Does it really reduce the workload, or is it actually increasing the workload because I have to make sure that the software is installed, that I have to renew the license, that it's custom tailored to me, that it has my logo on the front, and I have to fill in all these fields on the screen? That doesn't really help. So it has to be the right tool. Yeah. And usually when I look at tools, I see two types of tools. I see one type of tools are simple tools that starts with simple checklists and things like that, or tools that help you doing one task. That's great, because you have that task in that particular RFP process or not, and then you can use it, you can repetitively use it, easy. And then there are the more complex tools, and there it gets challenging, let's say this way. I know one company who introduced one of the big tools that basically implements the entire bid management process. And since they are having so many different types of bids and proposals, the complex has like 15 different variations, and that had to be reflected in this tool. And every time they use the tool, they realize, okay, now we have version number 16 and version number 17. And then they have to make a workaround to basically reflect this process in the tool. And that's more annoying than helpful. Another company I know, they have really realized that they have basically two types of proposals. One is more like proposal factory like proposals, and there they use a very useful tool. They mass produce proposals with pre-written text elements. Wonderful. And for the other type, they have a tool that helps them going through the process and going through the approvals and so on, and that's fine. But I think the key is really choosing the right tool that really makes you more efficient, and not just making you more look good. That's the issue for many tools.
And I think maybe one question, Chris, that we can answer at the end of the session maybe is, maybe for you to guide our colleagues in terms of how do you determine that this is the right tool for your environment. I mean, obviously it's a rigorous process, but if you have some tips and tricks around that, please just give us some of those at the end of the session. Nigel, your thoughts around digital transformation and automation?
I'm really glad you said at the start that we're not from technology companies, Philippa, because this is way out of my depth. I'll give you the hint right now. And I'm really glad you asked Chris, because Chris doesn't know. He's pretty smart from a technological perspective. He's taught me a thing or two.
I pretend to.
So, and I don't pretend. I'm way out of my depth. But look, for me, digital stuff, it gets down to the basic question, the basic premise. What are we trying to do? And for me, still is what we're trying to do is get better human interactions. All right. And if our tools can help us get better results from subject matter experts, understand stakeholders better, interact or communicate with partners better to get better bids, get a better insight on the customer, then it all boils down to that better customer or human interactions. And if tools and technology can allow us to do that, just like it is today, 10 years ago, what would we have thought we'd have a platform called Zoom? Would we have thought that we've got people from many different countries coming together to talk about proposals in as simple environment like this, offices? That's brilliant. So again, I have a very simple view on this. Use it to get better human interactions, because at the end of the day, bids are still human to human, and in all aspects. I think both human to customer and both within our own organisation. So use technology, but don't put technology first. Put the people first.
Very well put for a non-technical person. You put it in layman terms for us, and we completely understood what you were trying to say. I really love that answer that you gave us. Issan seems to be popping in and out here, but we're going to move on to the next question, which is, do you think that digital transformation in proposal management is lagging or accelerating since COVID? And if you do think it's lagging or accelerating, what are the reasons that you think that? Nigel, I'll give that to you first. That's okay.
Thanks, Philippa. Yes, of course. Take it to the numpty who doesn't know anything about technology. Okay, here's my answer. I've had a look at a bunch of proposal technologies along for many, many years. When we go to the APMP conferences, there's my understanding there's two types: collaboration and automation, and some are being put together now. I guess in this day and age, it is certainly. I mean, technology is with us and it's around us, and it certainly has got. We're getting much more used to. I spend most of my life on a computer. All of our big consultants spend all of their lives on computers. We need to understand what technology we can use, and I must say I rely on my 20 and 30-year-old consultants to give me the technological edge. They are brilliant, all right, because I haven't got it. So look, I'm well out of my depth to answering this question, Philippa. My hunch is that it just surrounds us, so we're getting more used to it as things come on board. We just adapt it and adopt it without even thinking these.
I completely agree. We're living it, and we just have to be flexible enough to use what's available for us, and we keep moving as we're living in technology. Issan, your thoughts? Do you think digital transformation and proposal management is lagging or accelerating since COVID? And why would you say it's lagging or accelerating?
I would like to say it's accelerating. But I'm going to go with Nigel on this one and say I actually don't know. My gut feel tells me that automation, digital technology, whatever the buzzwords are that you want to use, I think that there are other areas of business where it's been adopted and adapted for a lot longer than it has in the proposal world. I feel, and this is not it's not scientifically based, I just feel that for some reason, technology, it's taken longer for it to be adopted in the proposal world. And I'm not talking about your basic Word and Grammarly and that sort of tools. I'm talking about automation or qualification tools or language analysis tools. The type of tools that some probably consider as nice to have, but that could add value. So lagging or accelerating? I think lagging, I'm hoping accelerating.
Okay. Thanks, Issan. Chris, your thoughts on that?
Well, definitely. I mean, just the fact that we are having this session here tells me that we are thinking about these things. However, first of all, I think that the main area where COVID was helping us all is using collaboration tools, as Nigel said before. So, I mean, now we are Zooming all around the world, and it works wonderful. And the internet connections have become better.
Not today.
Okay.
Not today.
The exception proves that. Yes, but overall, that's what I'm feeling. That when I have Zoom calls with the US or somewhere else, usually the quality has become better overall on average. I mean, exceptions, of course, prove that. But when it comes to proposal-specific tools, I think I don't think we were lagging behind. But I think since the whole digital transformation issue has become the key topic now, proposal managers are doing that as well. So we are now all looking at these tools. I just had a recent customer workshop where we discussed all these kinds of things. We were discussing whether AI will replace us all or not. Thanks God we came to the conclusion that no, at least not in the next 3 years.
Thank God.
Yes, I mean, there are tools, and tools are also improving. And also, I mean, if you had asked me, would you recommend certain tools? If you had asked me that 5 years ago, I would have said no, not the big tools. But now I must say, when looking at all these demos, they are getting useful now. And that is different, and that is changing. They are getting more user-friendly, they are getting more powerful, they are getting more flexible, they are getting more stable, and so on. So that does make sense. There is a change, definitely.
Sorry, James. Go ahead. Nigel. Sorry. Go ahead.
That's what I add to that. And one of the things that has moved on a lot in the last few years is SharePoint. We use SharePoint a lot these days, just for collaboration with customers. And what it can do these days is improve out of sight from where it was even a few years ago. And what our 20s and 30 somethings can do with SharePoint, I'm even more amazed. They've blown me away with their insight about what they can make these things do. But I will say this, I reckon there's one area of proposal we haven't talked about that has gone backwards when we're talking technology, and that's procurement people. And my apologies to any procurement people out there who are listening. But the procurement people's in their strive to try and get things more automated and efficient, they pop up all these days, these portals, these online things that we have to try and then, yes, Chris, exactly, that we have to try and put our submissions into. And unless you're in the stationary market or something where it's purely commodity driven, what it does, it strips out all potential to add value or to add nuance or to add story. And I think that's those portals or that ability to become efficient from their procurement perspective is killing proposals and value in proposals and choice and better choice for them to make from their sellers.
I agree. I mean, there's so many things that we can do in our world when we put it together, whether it's a video, an embedded video, or a hyperlinked PDF. It's cool, but it's also effective. It's not just for the coolness sake. But when you upload a static something onto a portal, all that persuasion gets lost because it becomes commodity based. And we always differentiate between what we call value and volume. Volume, yes. Then you do produce 10 proposals a day, and you can put all of them in a procurement tool. But we're more concerned about the value type of opportunities than the volume.
Okay, interesting. Chris, you look like you want to add something to that.
No, absolutely. I just fully support that statement. I mean, yes, I mean, portals today, I mean, you saw my face when Nigel said that. I mean, these portals are horrible. I mean, that of course drives me to a different topic, which is qualification. I mean, in many cases where your quite unique product or service shall be answered in a way as if it was a commodity product, then you should probably say more often no bid.
It always comes down to qualification, hey? Always.
It's one of my pet projects, pet topics, pet peeves is qualification.
Is it?
People are too afraid to say no. They're too afraid to say no in the hope, that desperate hope. And, you know, hope is not a sales strategy.
Absolutely agree, Issan. Absolutely. Issan, what advice do you have for proposal leaders who are considering digitalizing their process, their proposal process specifically?
Well, they should listen to the recording because they'll get all the answers. I think Chris has mentioned this, or he's alluded to it. Don't invest in technology for the mere sake of technology. Just because it's there doesn't mean you have to buy it. So you need to consider the types of technologies that bring you closer to your customers, that will really add value, and that will also help you manage your risk environment, whether it's from a cybersecurity space or a governance and risk and compliance or ethics. So don't invest just to get technology. And then whatever you invest in a product, a tool, whether it's a fool with a tool or just a tool, make sure that it aligns with your wider strategy and your wider goals of a customer experience and new revenue streams and operational efficiencies. Whatever your larger company goals are, this part of your organization's technology investments must work with the rest. Otherwise, it's too disparate.
It must be integrated.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Issan. Chris, your thoughts?
Well, I would say start with the simple stuff. And when I say simple stuff, I mean really simple stuff. Templates. How many organizations don't have a proper template? I mean, and a good template helps you a lot, makes you more efficient. Great. And it's free of charge. Or checklists. I love checklists. Make good checklists for every stage of the process, for every role, and make that stuff available on the internet, on the intranet. So internally on the SharePoint, whatever it is. Simple stuff. And thirdly, also the pre-written text. I mean, one of the biggest time consumers is writing text. Unless you're just one of these copy and paste people, I hope not. And writing the stuff can be super can be improved a lot by having a good pre-written text database that is accessible as well.
Yeah.
So these are the simple things. And what I can see that many organizations still struggle with that one. So that's priority number one, fix the simple stuff. Yeah. And then priority number two is then thinking, okay, where do I want to get more efficient, and which tool can really make me more efficient? And how much time will I save? Make a little business case and calculate the hours that you actually save, and then really check the market and make sure that you install a test by a pilot, so that you can really see it. I mean, all these demos, they look great. They click around and show you how great it is, and it can be great, but it has to be really, really custom tailored to your environment. So make sure that you have the right tool and invest some time into the selection of the tool.
Absolutely agree.
What he said.
Nigel? Yes, what he said. I keep on wanting to call you Dennis. I don't know why. Please forgive me.
You might be the first one to do that serious stuff.
Nigel, your thoughts?
Yes, look, just to answer what Chris said, really, the biggest thing I've learned in bids and talking to people around their bids is that everyone's paradigm on bidding is different. Short time frames. I mean, Deshni Nadu put up a comment on the chat about how do we balance writing compelling content with very small timelines. What's the definition of a small timeline? I know people who bid in days. Their bid's got to be turned around in a few days. Other person's concept of a small timeline might be a few weeks. To someone else, that might be a long time. So the concept here is that whatever we have said today, and whatever other people will tell people about bidding, is everyone's view on bidding is different. Everyone's circumstances are different. Small, large, different industry, commodity, one-offs. I know people who do just 1 or 2 bids a year. That's their thing. I know companies also who do thousands of bids a year, but they're a lot smaller, 10 or 15 pages versus 1,500 or 2,000 pages. So what I'm trying to suggest is that everyone's view and paradigm is different about bidding, and It's not a one-size-fits-all approach from any stretch of the imagination. We need, to support this thing, we've got to select the right tool. What is that tool? Don't ask me. I'm not the digital transformation guy. But also this. I think the question was something around what advice do we give proposal leaders about digitalisation. The best advice I can give you: hire a 20 or a 30 something. I know age doesn't really matter. I know it shouldn't matter, but I tell you what, in this, my 14-year-old tells me much more about what goes on with my computer and how to do stuff. Honestly, they have bought the people that we've hired in our business who are late 20s, early 30s. They have been brilliant for transforming so many things in our business that I didn't know could be transformed. It's been eye-opening for me. So that's probably a good note to end. I'm just an old dinosaur trying to learn some new tricks from these 20, 30 somethings, and that's where the future lies. So if you're a proposal leader who's not in that cohort, go and find someone who is. That's the best I'll probably give.
I love it. So fix the simple things, have the right tools in the right areas, ensure that you're even getting better human interaction from those tools, and you're getting closer to your customer. Understand that one size does not fit all, and hire a millennial. I love it. What are your parting comments, guys? I think we need to leave a bit of time for questions. So I just want to hear what
I want to. It's not my parting comment. I want to add on to what Nigel just said. One of my customers, 9-year-old daughter, taught me something on PowerPoint that I didn't know how to do.
Wow.
And I thought I was pretty good on PowerPoint. Apparently not. She's 9. She turned 9 yesterday.
Imagine.
What?
I want to make the same comment with my 12-year-old, but with 9-year, you beat me.
Bored with this stuff. They are bored with this stuff in their hands. It's inbred somehow. It's not like it didn't happen like that for me. That's for sure.
The world is just becoming more incredible, especially with these young ones. They will teach you things you really had no idea about. Hey, Issan, your parting comments now.
My parting comments is, there's room. I think there's room and space and a place for technology in proposal development, in the different aspects of proposal development. Definitely, but pick the right one for the right problem, so it gives you the right value. Don't just implement for implement's sake. Check it out. Exactly like Chris said, have your trials, not just a demo. Shop around, ask the questions. And if the tool is only going to give you a very small advantage, then don't do it. It needs to help you leapfrog. Otherwise, you are going to be frustrated, waste money, and just not get the value for it.
Agree. Nigel?
Look, I learned something in business it took me a long time to learn this in business, but this is my comment to many things, I think, is that don't try and do stuff yourself. Just find smarter people than you are to get stuff.
9-year-olds.
Correct. Find the 9-year-olds who knows how to do stuff. And I think really we shouldn't struggle anymore with trying to nut things out ourselves. We as proposal leaders should say, I know how to do something. I'm sure it can be done. Let's find out someone who knows more than I do about that subject, who can advise us so we can make better informed decisions.
Absolutely, and become more efficient as well. Chris, your closing comment?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everything has been said, and to summarize it for me, it's don't use technology for the technology's sake, for the sake of technology. Start with the simple stuff, and remember, a fool with a tool is still a fool.
Amen.
I'm going to use that.
This time I got it.
Absolutely. I don't think there's anything else I can add onto that. Do we have any questions, Steph? Do we have any questions on the chat before we close off? I don't see any. Do you see any?
No, I think we can close.
We can close. Okay. I think this has been a definite light bulb moment, which is defined as a moment of enlightenment or inspiration. And I think I speak not only for myself when I say that we have experienced exactly that in the past hour. I'd like to leave you with a quote from Sean Garrity, which says, "The technology you use is not to impress anyone, but rather the experience you create with it is everything." To all our attendees, I'd like to acknowledge and appreciate your presence, your attention, and your participation for the past hour. A special thank you to our panelists for making the time to share such valuable insights with us. And it really was a fun session. And a big thank you to Enfold for organizing this roundtable and for continuing to inspire success in the bid and proposal galaxy. Now, if you'll see on your screens, we look forward to seeing you at the Power of Data-Driven Qualification, which is on the 20th of October. More time, less risk with content and language analysis, that is on the 27th. And Centralize, Automate, and Collaborate through Proposal Automation, which is on the 3rd of November. You can register for any of these webinars on the Enfold websites. I challenge you to inspire success in your day-to-day activities. Be blessed, and thank you so much for joining us.